Welcome to Whole Being Health, Function, Vitality and Mastery. Today I'm going to talk about functional mechanics and movement in sport, and as well as fighting, martial arts. So we know that ideas go through three different things. First of all, they are violently opposed, then they are scorned, and then they are accepted as truth. An example of this when it comes to repeated movements or the set blueprints for all things when it comes to functionality is Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee studied traditional martial arts. He got into a certain fight with a certain traditional martial artist and he realized that the things he was doing weren't functional. So he innovated a new style. And first of all, it was violently opposed, people challenged him. Then it was scorned, people belittled him. And then it was accepted as true. All martial artists started to do it and innovate into this new style that we call today mixed martial arts. Now, using mixed martial arts as an example, the reason why it's a great example because it covers all facets of movement. So using that template, we look at someone like Conor McGregor, who is, by the time this video comes out, the fight would have already happened, but he's fighting Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather is a traditional boxer in the sense that he fights as a boxer. The best fighter of his generation, of the last 25 years. Conor McGregor is a mixed martial artist who's now coming into that environment and fighting him. Traditional boxers say he needs to understand the fundamentals of boxing to become effective against Mayweather. But why would he want to do that? Why would he want to use the same template and the same blueprint that 49 other boxers have used and failed? The best way to beat him is to innovate and to bring about something outside the box. Something that will be opposed, scorned, and then accepted as truth. You don't want to do the same traditional fundamentals. If you do the same thing, you get the same result because everybody knows what to expect. So in order for you to innovate and to move beyond the stage that you're at, you have to do something that is untraditional, something that is not the template. Now, when it comes to our bodies don't like to repeat the same process. It doesn't like to repeat the same pattern, which is one of the reasons why machine training itself actually is not very good for you, from a repetitive stress syndrome as well as from a functional system. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, when you use a machine such as a chest press, you are doing the exact same pattern constantly. If somebody else gets into the machine who's taller than you or shorter than you, they're doing the exact same pattern in the exact same way every single rep. So the body creates repetitive stress syndrome over a repeated period of time. The body does not like to do that. If you watch videos of elite swimmers and they film them, every stroke is slightly different because the body is trying to avoid repetitive stress by making the movement slightly different, which is functional. The same as someone who throws hammers as a carpenter. The movements are always slightly different. So my point here is repeating a process over and over again isn't actually that good. Doing different processes is good, and that's what makes you functional. See, if you do repeated training, it's the same as doing repeated ideas. And as we say, more of the same equals more of the same. If you expect a drill when it comes to training to be a certain way, then you can anticipate that drill when it comes to fighting, when it comes to martial arts. You can anticipate that drill. If everybody is training the same way, everybody will get the exact same result when it comes to functional application. What do I mean by that? Going back to martial arts for a moment, or boxing, they say that you set up every punch with the jab. Well, if everybody's doing that, then it's a lot easier to anticipate. A lot easier. I didn't say it's easy, a lot easier to anticipate. Supposing somebody didn't set up every punch with a jab, suppose they set up every punch with an uppercut. You may say, well, uppercuts are slower, but it would be something different. Remember, new ideas are opposed, scorned, and then accepted. So when it comes to that process, we look at functionality. Functional exercise has to be done differently. You look at football teams nowadays, a lot of them are doing the same training and getting the same results, which is injuries. You look at a lot of the clubs today, they're doing the exact same training. There's certain clubs, I'm not going to say any names, but certain clubs in the UK where 8 players in a team in 2015 or I think 2016 season all had the same hamstring injury on the same leg within the same season. what were they all doing? The exact same training. If someone's 6'5" and someone's 5'4" and different body types, they shouldn't be doing the same training, because certain people have faster twitch muscles, certain people have slower twitch muscles. The point here is you can't do the exact same thing all the time in anything, whether you think the same way. If you think the same way and you build the same thing, then every house looks the same. So in order for us to grow, we have to be able to move outside of repetitive movements and repetitive thoughts. So again, another example is thinking outside of the box. Children are pure potential. They have not been programmed yet. They are unprogrammed. And they are programmed by the things we teach them and the things that we say to them and the things that we show them. So a child is pure potential. So if you say to a child, what do you think this does? They may give you something completely different if they haven't been programmed. So I'll give you an example of that. I remember when I was learning karate years ago, and one of my coaches, he said he likes to ask children what particular movements in kata mean. And there are set applications, like if you do this, this means you pull the hair and you can break them. And when you ask a child, they may say something completely outside of the box because they haven't been programmed with the same answer. So he loves to ask children, what do you think this move does? And it teaches him a lot because they are unprogrammed. Everyone does the same thing in different ways. But that way they become drones, they become stronger. But they become stronger, faster, and more powerful doing the exact same thing. So there's no change. So the systems don't change. The progress on functionality doesn't change. So there are many people out there that are actually pushing the envelope and actually doing things completely different ways. When you squat, you must squat this way. Why? Why do you have to squat this way with your toes turned out to a certain degree angle? Why? Why can't you innovate a squat? Why can't it be slightly different? Another example I'll give you when it comes to innovation and change applied to functional mechanics. Look at Michael Johnson, the world famous sprinter who had the world record in the 200 meters and 400 meters. And he would run very upright. He'd run really tall, very, very upright, whereas everybody was running a lot lower. And I remember somebody said to him, if you had run like everybody else, do you think you would have done better? And he said, if I'd run like everybody else, I'd be at the back of the line like everybody else. He was a champion, he was a leader, he actually ran differently, but he was better than everybody because he did things differently. So my closing on this is, in order for us to change in anything, whether it's function or mechanics of movement, whether it's applying a new principle to a fighting style, whether it's applying a new technique or a new way of training to sport, whether it's applying a new way of thinking to an idea, all of these things have to be changed by us being willing to do something completely new, to break the mold, to shape a new template, a completely different blueprint that is our own, to innovate the rest of the world, because that's the only way that growth happens and changes. Change is the secret. Stay healthy, happy, whole. In whole, be in health.